Yes. So today is the 286 of showing up consistently. You know, I've basically been thinking today, but today is the day that I put my corporate account creation to rest. So I did not even know if I mentioned that I now own a company. I registered my business as a company so that I can get more legitimate and I'll be able to, provide a corporate account which is going to make international clients take me more serious. Yes. So basically, I think it took me about 4 to 5 hours to fill the form because there were a lot of things. For example, there were some that I had to reprint with letterhead. So I just had to create a letterhead for my company. So I created letterhead, I filled everything, one or two. I had to go back and forth on what to fill on where and what so as not to make mistake. I made a couple of mistakes. I think I made a couple of mistakes, but instead of just crossing them out, I crossed them out. Then I signed under the correction, under the mistake. Then I move a little bit forward to the right to write the new update there because um because normally if I go to bank, if there's a mistake on any form and the form is too much for you to refill again, they just ask you to sign underneath it so that they will know that this correction was done by you. So that's what I did. That's what they call proactiveness. So that's what I did. I was able to fill it. Then I was able to do also. I was able to revamp my CV, my resume. Yeah, able to revamp my resume. So tomorrow I start proper. Hopefully tomorrow is going to be a better day because today I cannot say that I was sleepy because I did not sleep. I think that was basically what I did today. I was supposed to read a book today, but I did not have time to read the book. I was just basically juggling between filling of forms, adjusting one or two, writing. Yeah, yes. So that's basically what I've been doing today. Nothing much today. I didn't even have time to think about how my week went, but thinking about it now, my week was not really bad, because I started this week out with just thinking. But I realized that thinking is not going to solve anything. Because if anything, thinking is just going to add more problem to my problem. Because now the result of thinking is going to be stress. I won't be able to sleep. There was even a time that I did not sleep till 4 o'clock before I was able to sleep. So thinking, that's what thinking does to me. Will not allow me to sleep well. And if I'm unable to sleep, I look more lean no matter what I eat. So that's two. And three is that I started having headaches, and that headache will not allow me to concentrate on work. That's three. And alongside that headache, I started having eye pain. That eye pain is going to contribute more, so I will not be able to do work that is going to be productive. So you see that this thing has a domino effect. So it is either I pick my poison, either I pick the poison that is going to give me domino effect of falling sick or unable to sleep or having a headache, or pick the one that I have a little bit control over. So you know what they say. Most of my prayer is that God should give me the power to be able to, God should give me the power to be able to take charge of things that I have control over, and should give me the power, it should give me the power and might for me not to mull over things that I have no control over. Because most of the time when you realize those things that you don't have control over, they take bulk of your time. You think about them too much. And when you think about them too much, you don't have anything that you can do about them. So they stress you, they waste your time, they just give you a headache, they give you a lot of no trouble. But those things that you have control over, when you think about it, maybe 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 minutes max, you come up with a solution. So that's just it. You know what they say? There's a saying that goes like this: do spend 80% on spend 20%. Do how will I put it? I think is something around 20%, 80%. Doing something that spending 80% of time on things that spending 20% of time. I don't even know how to put it, but the concept is around 20% is that what you give you to 80% return. what you can do that is 20% input that will give you 80% return, and 20% input and 80% input that will give you 20% return. So problem that has no solution, that you have no control over, is like 80% input with 20% return. Can you see that the distance is wide? Why problems that you have control over, that you can change, that you can determine what will happen or what will not happen, is the 20% input that gives you 80% return. So I'm focusing on 20% input, 80% return, because that's the best way to go. I cannot stress myself to think about things that I have absolutely zero to no control over. For example, now I don't have any control over tomorrow, whether tomorrow will come or tomorrow will not come. I don't have any control over it, but there is the probability that tomorrow will come, since it is night already, that tomorrow is come is around. I have to do the calculation. So you get what I'm saying. So that's just basically it. So instead of just thinking, mulling over, worrying about things that I have no control over, like I have been in the past few days, I just decided that, well, I cannot keep myself, I cannot worry too much. Let me just focus on things that I can control. So starting from next week, I'm going to be focusing more on things that I can control. So that's basically what my last week was all about. I learned to be able to figure things out, not to get everything out, not to get everything right at once, to see this as a consistent process, as a continuous process rather. So instead of just trying to figure everything out at once, let me just figure out the next few days first. Then once the next few days is figured out, I can continue to figure the rest out days by day, step by step, like that. So that's just basically everything for my last week till this week, because today is another day and it is a new week. So happy Easter, by the way. So that's all for my day 280 of showing up consistently. We are moving on to day 300. This is interesting. Anyway, see you tomorrow on day 289. Bye for now.